welcome. My name is Sharron Vogler, and I get the privilege of working with all of our School of Business alumni. I help provide and put together professional development resources for our entire School of Business footprint alumni, which includes undergrads, our pre-experience programs, and our MBA programs. I also get to support career services and professional development resources for our MBA students. And I see lots of students in on the participant log. And so I applaud you all for, again, very busy lives, taking just a few minutes to think about career development. And so, as expected, a couple more people here in the waiting room. I'm going to admit, and then we'll get started. Of course, like I said, we are going to record. We are recording this session, and I will follow everything up with some additional resources. So another disclaimer I will just put out on the table today is that I am flying not only solo as a facilitator today, but I'm also flying solo without a PowerPoint. And this is very unlike any session I've ever done. I've always had that safe base as using PowerPoint to keep myself organized and keep myself on subject and keep the agenda moving along. And so I'm going to be demonstrating everything in a live demo. Which means I've got to use other platforms that I have no control over. And so fingers crossed, everyone, say a little prayer that those platforms don't get cranky, that I'm using them too much in my free subscription level, and that we get through this without too many hiccups. And so again, resumes have changed, okay? Back in, the good old days, if you will, if you had a fairly decent resume, you could apply for a job, whether it be online or an actual physical application, and you expected someone to read the whole thing, right? It was more likely that human eyes were going to read every line of your resume. And so I'm here to tell you that times have changed, and we're relying more and more on technology to help companies and recruiters at said companies get through an enormous amount of applications. And so, for an example, if a job is posted online and it's advertised on a platform like LinkedIn, a company could expect hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants to apply for that job, because we're in a very tight job market, meaning there is a robust offering, right, of jobs that are out there, but there are a lot more candidates than there are jobs, which makes it really competitive. And so companies are leaning on technology to help them keep themselves organized and to give every applicant a fair and equitable shot at the jobs that they are currently recruiting for. So we've seen this rise in applicant tracking systems, or ATSs, right? And these applicant tracking systems, they come in many shapes and sizes, and companies pay for this software as a service, this technology to help them get candidates through the application and interview pipeline in a very efficient and fair way. And so the burden then becomes on the candidate, okay, to present a resume and an application that clearly aligns them to the job that they are applying to, okay? Now, companies can be very strict and very picky on the types of candidates that they invite to interview, meaning that companies are now in a position where they can wait around and get through like all the applicants to make sure they have the best candidate, the one that aligns the closest to their needs. So it's your job as a candidate to present a document that tells that story and aligns you with that job. Okay. And so here at Wake Forest in the School of Business, my colleagues and I spend an ungodly amount of time understanding how these applicant tracking systems work. We spend a lot of time interviewing recruiters and interviewing the creators of these applicant tracking systems so that we can equip you to make sure that you know all the latest, tips and tricks on how to best stand out in a very competitive job market. So today I'm going to walk you through my process on how I use AI tools to create these resumes that will hopefully yield better results than just taking a generic document, one that you use over and over and over again. So let's get started. The first thing I want you to think about is how many times you need to apply if you are in job search mode. And the last number that I've seen is that you have to apply to 80 jobs before you get one offer. Okay, 80 jobs, 80 applications is a lot because it's taking at least 30 minutes. And if you really are putting some time into it, 45 minutes to an hour for every application. And so I say this to help you put your head around the fact that when you're at the end of this journey, if 80 is the number, if you have to apply to 80 jobs, then you will have 80 different versions of your resume. Okay. And it's up to you to keep yourself organized so that when you do get a call back from a company, you know what resume you used for that job. And I'm going to show you some ways to keep yourself organized. Okay. So the things that you're going to need, right? Think of this like as a recipe. The things that you're going to need to be able to do this and do it efficiently. Number one, you're going to need to have an applicant tracking system compliant resume. And I'm going to show you the difference between one that's not compliant and one that is compliant. Now we need to edit resumes in like Microsoft Word or Google Docs, right? But when you send these resumes and you use them to apply, you always want to save them in a PDF document so as to not, jeopardize the way it is formatted. Okay, so you need an applicant tracking system compliant resume. You need a job description, okay? Because every resume is going to look a little different, and we're going to use the language and the keywords on the job description to create this resume. The two AI tools that I use the most are a system called Skill Syncer. And again, I'm going to take you right to that system in just a second and show you how to use it, and ChatGPT. Okay. ChatGPT is both of these platforms are free. Okay. They have advanced or premium subscriptions that you can pay for. But here at Wake Forest, I don't pay for them. And I do this all day, every day. So I don't think you need to pay for the premium subscriptions for these. Will it make your life easier? Yes. And so if you have an extra, $100 laying around, it could make this a little easier. But I'm of the camp to not spend money that you don't need to use. And the free subscription levels are just as powerful as paying for the premium. Now, I also would encourage everyone to use a third AI tool, which is Grammarly. Grammarly also is a free, it's an extension that you can import or download onto your laptop. and your this system will help you with grammar and typos. Again, it's free. It has a premium subscription level, but I say you don't need it. I don't use it. I don't use the premium, and I get through this really easily. Okay, so you need an applicant tracking system compliant resume. You need a job description. You need access to Skill Syncer. You need access to ChatGTP, and you need Microsoft Word or Google Docs. Now, again, if you are using a Mac, Microsoft Word may be a little tricky, so Google Docs will work. I'm going to use Microsoft Word because that's where I'm comfortable and know best. Okay? Any questions so far before I get into the live demo? Great. Okay. I am super excited to introduce you virtually to my nephew, Jason. This is a real guy. This is a real example of a non-applicant tracking system compliant resume. Okay, what makes it non-compliant? You have to think that an algorithm or a computer is reading this document. And can everybody see Jason's resume? Didn't ask. Anyone?
Yes.
Yes, I see a thumbs up. All right, I'm going to keep going. Okay, so Jason's a creative guy, right? He's an artist. He's a creative director. He's a graphic designer. And so he wants a visually stimulating resume, right? Because it's going to help him communicate his personal brand and his professional brand in a very aesthetically pleasing way. But a computer's going to read this, and this big black box up here at the top is automatically going to confuse the applicant tracking system. Okay, and so it may throw off some of the algorithms that the ATS is using to read his resume. Okay, it's also 2 pages. Okay, this is the second page, and there's a lot of white space, and he's got these hyperlinks on this document that he sent to me in a PDF. So this is a PDF of a resume that Jason created in Illustrator. Okay, it is not applicant tracking system compliant. Okay, I get a lot of questions about resumes, especially with some of my more experienced hire cases that I work with here in the School of Business, and about the number of pages, right, that you need. And I say 1 page. Even if you've had 25, 30 years of experience, you can get what you need to communicate on 1 page. Now, many of us, like myself, it's really hard to let go of some of that earlier year stuff, right? That's where the blood, sweat, and tears happened. That's where we were scraping our way, right, through entry level and maybe some tough, mid-level jobs, right, that helped us be the person and the candidate that we are today. But hiring managers and recruiters only really care about the last 10 to 12 years. Okay, so you can use 2 pages, but if you use a second page, make sure you use a majority of that second page. And Jason, he's had some experience, right? And so he's using most of the second page, but again, all the white space is not really used to his advantage. Okay, and so let's take a look at Jason's resume that I helped him redo. Now, we hear time and time again that less is more. Okay, these documents need to be boring and plain. Okay, and Jason's a creative guy, so it's really hard for him to let go of some of that creativity, right? And so I recreated Jason's resume using our Wake Forest School of Business applicant tracking system compliant template. Everyone who is on this call know that we will follow up with this template. Okay, I have a 1-page template and I have a 2-page template. I will send them both to you all. Okay, and so you can see that this is a very plain, it's very plain document. And I'm sure many of you have heard this as well, that you get about 7 to 10 seconds to decide whether this is a candidate that you want to learn more about. Think of it as the first 1/4 of the page is your billboard, and you have to communicate who you are from the very top. You can't assume that they're going to read the whole thing, right? When human eyes actually get on this thing, you have to think, am I really communicating who I am and the value that I bring to this organization in a very clear and precise way? And Jason, we've done a pretty good job here creating that. Okay. He's a creative director. We've got some basic contact information about Jason, his cell phone, his email address, link to his LinkedIn profile. And then I'm waiting on a link to his portfolio to put in this space here. But notice we don't have a physical address. Okay. Most of the jobs that Jason is applying for are remote. And so it doesn't matter where he lives. Now, he lives in Charleston, South Carolina. If he were applying for a job in Charleston, South Carolina, I would advise Jason to at least put Charleston, South Carolina up here so they know he's a local guy. But any job that he's applying for that's remote, it doesn't matter. It makes it interesting, but it really, it's real estate that you want to use more intentionally to communicate your value than your physical address. Okay. And we've got a nice generic 3 sentences here that talk about his professional summary. And again, we don't use the word summary here. We're just using words. And then I added a little flair of personality in these section headers, but you could see things like core competencies here or areas of expertise, right? Instead of battle scars and paychecks, it could be something like professional experience or employment history, okay? And then down here at the bottom, education, you need to use that word in the headline, but we, again, are just adding a little personality. And then we've got some fun facts and hidden talents down here. All right. So I think we've done a good job of creating a little personality in a very plain document. Okay. The next thing that we need is a job description. So Jason sent me this job via LinkedIn for a senior brand manager at National Veterinary Associates. Okay. And you get to see a lot of information about this job, about the company, super helpful. But we only need the guts of this job description, okay? And so I advise everyone to copy the whole thing, okay? You want to copy this content up until these benefits, because that's not really that important in this exercise. Important to you as a candidate and an applicant, but not important for us to use in this exercise. So you would simply copy it and you'd go into Word or Google Docs and you would paste it. Okay, I already did that here before our meeting. One of the things that you need to make sure is included in this copy and paste is the title and the firm. Okay. And so again, I've just got the guts of this job description, copy and paste it into a Word document. And then we're going to go over and we're going to scan his current resume, his current applicant tracking system resume with this job description in this very cool system called SkillSyncer. And again, it's spelled a little different, so make sure you pay attention to the way it's spelled here before you get in there. And it's free. Now, they're going to ask for your credit card. Don't give it to them. And just sit in this free subscription level of SkillSyncer. Now, SkillSyncer will restrict the number of scans that you have in a rolling 30 days. So one of the reasons that I got real nervous this morning about this presentation is that I didn't want to practice it too much and, in jeopardy of losing my free subscriptions in the middle of this demo. Okay, so one of the workarounds that we've figured out here in the School of Business that if you exhaust your free scans in SkillSyncer, yet you still need to use it, then you can go over to an incognito browser and use a different email address to log into the system. And you can have another, I think it used to be 5 free scans a month. And so a little trickery there, a little finesse on how to utilize these tools without paying for them. So we go here, and I've already done this scan once, and so hopefully it'll take it again. But we are going to say the company name is National Veterinary Associates. Yeah, this company is not in the database. No one's ever used SkillSyncer to do this in the SkillSyncer database. So they're trying to keep up with some data, right? And it is a senior brand manager. Okay. All right. So now we're going to see it allows you to drop in the job description, and it allows you to drop in your resume on this platform. So we have to go back to our Word document. We have to select all. We're going to go back. We're going to paste. And then you can upload it. I personally prefer to copy and paste. Okay. And again, we're going to copy all, select all, copy. I'm going to go back over to SkillSyncer, and we're going to paste it. And then we're going to scan it. And SkillSyncer is going to get real busy, and it's going to give us this net promoter score here. Okay. It's saying you're 49% qualified for this job. Okay. Without really doing any customizations at all. Okay. What I think is also extremely helpful is it tells me, it's given me some information here that's super helpful. It's telling me these 36 hard skills were not found on your resume, but we found them on the job description. Okay. It's also showing us some soft skills that were not a match and other skills. Now, if you scroll down even more, you can see other things that it's really interested in. It's interested in a degree match. So he matches the degree. Word counts, I don't pay that close attention to. They're looking for an email address and a phone number. They're looking for quantifiable accomplishments, which he has. And some other not as helpful information. Now, again, look at what it's also doing. It's telling us that here are the keywords that we found on the job description. Okay. In this column, it's showing you how many times it's mentioned on the job description and how many times it's mentioned on your resume. So it's mentioned once on the job description, and Jason's got it mentioned Adobe, which is super important. He's got that mentioned twice, right, on this resume, which gives him 100%. Now, some of this is just directional, right? And so the word animals, I wouldn't spend that much time on, right? But brand marketing, it's mentioned once on the job description. He doesn't have it mentioned at all on his resume. Look at brand down here. It's mentioned 8 times, but he's got it mentioned 7. So again, there's no way you can possibly expect to match them all. I show you this to see that it matters how many times you have these keywords mentioned on your resume. Okay. Business is mentioned twice on the job description. He's only got it mentioned once, only giving him 50%, right, of the points needed. Okay. All right. Now, how are we going to get this number, this 49% closer? I like to see them 65. You can get it into 70, 75% range. It's going to be super helpful. Directional, not scientific. Okay. This is not, we can't promise, right, 100% improvement in your response rate, but I've seen tremendous amount of success when you do it this way. All right, so now the next tool that we need is Chat GTP. This one's the one I'm the most nervous about because they want my credit card so badly, and I do not want to give it to them. And now everything's cycling around. Here we go. All right. Again, I can try it for free, but it's got some restrictions and it's starting to get real cranky with the amount of times I ask ChatGPT to help me write resumes. So it's being a little slow, but it's going to work. I know it. Nope. Because this is how life works. As that's trying to load, does anybody have any questions so far? All right, here we go. All right, what can I help you with? So the first prompt I'm going to ask ChatGPT to help me with is I'm going to take the job description and I'm going to copy and paste it again. And then I'm going to ask ChatGPT to tell me the most important things on the job description, right? All right. Please, I don't know, I'm a little polite, so I always ask please. Please find the 9 most important attributes for this job. Paste, go. I'll think for a minute, and it's going to spit it right out at me, right? The 9, why did I pick 9? I picked 9 because these will be the 9 things that I use when I am customizing this resume. These are going to become Jason's bag of tricks. So before I change anything on this resume, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to save it. Save as. It's so slow right now. Save as Jason Davis. Okay, and this is going to be for a National Veterinary Association Senior Brand Manager, Feb 25. Okay, so this is going to help Jason stay organized so that when this company calls him for an interview, he can go directly back to this actual resume that he created just for them. It's also a little, another little trick or a finesse, if you will. When sending these documents, you're going to send them PDF, which we're going to go over at the end. But when a recruiter sees this attachment, they're going to see that Jason took the time to actually create a resume for this job. Okay. And they'll see it in the way he's named this document. Okay. And so we would then go back to ChatGPT. Now, the copy and paste is a little tricky. And so I would copy all of these things down. And I'm not going to do this because it would take us too much time and we don't have enough time today. But I'd go back to Word and just at the bottom here, I would paste these because it's easier to copy them back into a resume, right? And I'd get rid of these dots and I'd get rid of this for now. Whoops. We don't care about that kind of stuff. These will become his areas of expertise or the things he's really good at. Okay? Everybody get the swing of it? Okay, those will go here in my bag of tricks. Okay? And then what I would do is I would copy his resume. Copy. And I would paste it into ChatGPT. I would say, please write a 1-sentence summary for the job mentioned above in this resume. 1 sentence. Okay, now look, you need to ask it to leave out pronouns. So you have to wiggle it around a little bit. I would probably even leave off this ideal fit for the senior brand manager role and say rewrite as a summary for my resume. Yeah, I like that one better. And it's used 2 sentences. So again, I could ask it to break it, to put it just into 1 sentence. I just want to make sure everybody understands that this is not War and Peace up here. It needs to be very simple and it needs to really align, right? And now please use 6 years plus in 1 sentence. Boom. Right now, Jason on his resume has said, like, this is really good, that he has 17 years of experience. The job description only asks for 6 years of experience, 6 years plus experience. Now, if Jason were to use 17 years, he's probably not going to get asked to interview for this role for 2 reasons. The first reason is he's overqualified. The second reason is he's too expensive. Okay. And Jason, I know, doesn't have lawfully, salary expectations that would cause him not to take a role as a senior brand manager. And so you want to match the number of years that the job description requires as closely as you can. Okay. So I just copy it and I'd paste it right on this resume. Okay. Boom. Make sure, oops. Going to cause things to get a little out of whack, and you just kind of make sure that they're back in whack. Anytime you copy and paste onto a Word document, the spacing gets all messed up. And so you have to come in, you have to correct it a little bit. Okay. I would also encourage Jason to use their title up here, Senior Brand Manager. Now, has he ever been a senior brand manager? Has he ever held that title? No. Has he been a senior brand manager? Has he managed brands before? Yes. So he can say that that's who he is. Okay. I would also encourage Jason to use at least 1 or 2 other words off of the job description to also clearly communicate that he is a perfect fit, right, for this job. Okay. Now, another way you can use ChatGPT is in creating these bullets. Okay. And so like this one here, this one's it can get a little long, okay? But if I copied all of these, right, all of this information from his resume and went back to ChatGPT and I say, please rewrite these bullets for this job. Boom, boom. It's using their words, okay? So you can see we're saying the same thing. He says grew. They use scaled, okay? Led is also a good word, okay? Instead of starting it with implemented, they're using developed. Again, it's using the words straight off of the job description. So again, I would copy this verbatim. I wouldn't change a thing except for those nasty periods. At the end, I'm not a big fan of periods on resumes. Okay, and copy it and then paste it right into the job description. Boom. And again, it's going to throw the formatting off. So you have to fix the formatting. which you'll get the hang of. All right. Another section that I would pay close attention to, and again, looks like we're on 2 pages now, which again, it's my quest in life to get things on 1 page, is that you could go back to ChatGPT and ask, I would ask it to extract the most important soft skills from this job description. It knows my bad spelling too. Look, the most important soft skills for a senior brand manager. Here they are. And this is the cliff notes, if you will, for creating AI-powered resumes. Now, if we had all the time in the world, I would go through and I would show you exactly, right, where I would add these things. I would make sure that some of this stuff that's not that important are taken out, and we elevate those keywords that ChatGPT just helped us extract. And then I would probably pick 1 or 2 of those to include in this headline right underneath his name, right? And then once we do all of that, we can go back to SkillSyncer and rescan it, and you will see that the net promoter score, that's what I call this score here, will go up. Okay, I covered a lot. What kind of questions does anyone have? I see some stuff in the chat. Let me check it. Yes, Nick, we're going to record this session. Allie, for someone who may have less years of experience than specified in the job description, would you recommend a similar approach? All right, Allie, if you feel comfortable, give me an example. Like, how far off are you in years of experience?
Yeah, I'm going to be around, I'm 2.5 years right now. And so say some of these descriptions can be up to 4 to 5 years. So I know we've discussed this before of, sometimes I still could apply for it, but just, I guess, optimizing for the resume. Some of my experience does go back to these internships, which I guess, I don't know if that would count.
It counts. It all counts.
Okay.
Internships absolutely count. So my advice on just not necessarily like how to communicate it on your resume, but as you're looking at job descriptions, I look at a 3-year window and on a sliding scale. Okay. So if you're just 2 years out, you have 2 years of experience, but a job description says that you need 4 years of experience. 2 + 3 is 5. You fit in that window. So I would say apply, and maybe just not highlight that you don't have 4 years of experience. I'm working with another client right now, and he is new in his career as well. He hasn't even been working post-grad for 2 years. He's about 1 year and 8 months. He's been working with the exact experience, right, that the job that we were looking at required. So the job required 3 years of experience. And I said, you should apply for that job because the experience you do have is exactly what they're looking for. And he got an interview, and the recruiter actually said, well, we're looking for someone with 3 years of experience, but you've got a solid almost 2. And so he got put through to the next round, and he's got his final round tomorrow, and where they want to discuss salary. So we're pretty certain he's going to get an offer tomorrow. So again, it's very subjective. Some companies are very adamant about those years of experience, and others aren't quite as particular about it. And I say you've always got to shoot your shot. Now, if you only have 2 years of experience and a senior brand manager, right, this one that we're looking at now, requires 6 years of experience. See, it's saying 6+ years of relevant experience in brand marketing, in-house or within a creative agency. And you only have 2. and you meet all the other requirements, I still say apply, but don't get your hopes up, because there are going to be other candidates that do have 6 years of experience that you're going to be competing against. But I always say you got to shoot the shot, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions?
Hi, Sharon. This is Anitra McCrae. Thank you so much. This was fantastic. Thank you
Oh,
so
good. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. What's your
much.
question?
Yeah, so I fall into the more seasoned professional role, at least 25 years of work experience.
Sure.
So thank you for sharing the tip about only including the years of experience that the job posting has, because in the past I've said 15 plus, 20 plus years and all of that. Are there any other tips that you would share with seasoned professionals of traps for us not to fall into?
A great question, Anitra. And ageism is right, a real thing.
Mm-hmm,
And I would be a terrible career advisor if I didn't tell you that it was real.
mm-hmm,
So, a
mm-hmm.
couple of things. Always leave off the years that you graduated, right? Even if you recently just got an MBA, and you've got 25 years of experience, leave your graduation years off.
Okay.
Okay. I would also really consider leaving off completely. And again, it's really hard for people to do this, early career experience.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you are applying for a job, let's say you've had the last 15 years, you've been in banking and you've worked for banks. Okay. And you've been a project manager for a bank. And in your earlier career, you worked in HR for a not for a bank. And that experience working in HR in an industry that you might be let's say you worked in HR in higher education. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You work for a college early on and you're looking to make a pivot into HR, maybe even in banking, then I would go back to that HR experience.
Okay.
Right? Because it's relevant to what you're applying to. So again, it just depends. So
Okay.
my templates that I'm going to send to you all, let me see if I can get those pulled up. Usually have these. Support. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Here we go. Alumni support. Resume templates. So like I said, I've got a 2-pager and I have a 1-pager. So I would say try to get it on one page. The recruiters and hiring managers will actually thank you, right? And so you can see this is our template. And the places that I have highlighted are the flex, like you're definitely going to want to change these lines. But look how I have like early career experience listed down here. If it's not relevant, I would leave it off, especially the years. Like you just want to unage yourself as much as you can.
Okay.
Okay. Now I do have these. I would tell you to leave these off.
Okay.
Maybe I should take these off the template. Does that help?
That's great. Yes. Thank you so much.
Good. So here's our 2-pager, and here's our 1-pager. Oops. 1-pager. Again, very similar, but I've just got everything fit. If I can get it to fit on one page, I think of it as a puzzle that I'm just dying to solve. Okay, and this is packing a punch. Think about plain, simple, your billboard, right? The billboard of you is in that upper 1/3 or 1/4 of the page. And you need to communicate everything you want them to know about you from the very beginning. And think of it as clickbait, right? You want them to click, you want them to scroll, you want them to read. Other questions?
Sharron, this is Robin.
Hi, Robin. How are you? It's good to hear you.
Thank you very much. Again, excellent presentation, very useful information that you're sharing. So one question that I had is related to the like the Workday application. Most jobs, once you click, especially if you're applying through their website, they're going to have you fill out, even though you're uploading a resume, they have you fill out all of the, relevant details, in that application process. In that case, is it still equally important to have, the resume in the ATS compliant format when, are they utilizing that information? It's really annoying sometimes
It's
when you have
so
to do
annoying.
that.
Yeah. So some applicant tracking systems are pretty sophisticated, and they'll take your document, your PDF document, and it'll parse it into their application, kind of pre-filling, right? All the spots, right, that they needed. But a lot of things have to align for that to parse perfectly. Okay. So if your resume isn't applicant tracking system compliant or friendly, it's throwing off that auto-populated, right, feature on the platform. That's when you have to go back in and you have to key in everything that's on your resume. Okay.
Yeah.
Not all applicant tracking systems are the same. So some of them may require you to do it again and some may not. But you're not legally obligated to put every single job you've ever had.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just the stuff that's on the resume that you want them to know. That's what needs to go into the application on the ATS.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? Use ChatGTP to help you with interviews too. I could do a whole nother hour on how I use ChatGTP to help prepare for interviews. You can easily drop that job description in, drop your resume in, and say, what kind of behavioral questions can I expect from this job, right? And then ask it, which of my, what kind of experience should I extract from that best aligns, right, with their needs of the organization? Guys, it spits it right out at you. Now, you're not going to recite it. You're not going to memorize it, but it just gives you the outline. It gives you the formula to make sure you're communicating your value for that job in that firm. Other questions? Okay, I'm going to give you 10 minutes back of your life. And again, we will follow this up with the recording. I will include my both resume templates. I've got a prompt sheet also that I will include that shows the prompts that I used when I was asking ChatGPT to help us. And then I'll also include a new document I've just created around all the different job boards you should be looking for jobs in, right? LinkedIn is good. Indeed is good. But again, there's a lot of noise on both of those platforms now. And so I've got a really good list of other platforms and other job boards that you might want to consider for when looking for jobs. I'll include that as well. All right. If no one has any other questions, have a great day. I'll stay on in case someone does want to ask me a question or two. And I hope to see you all at some more of our events. Go to our events page on the School of Business website for alumni, and they'll all be listed there. And again, I hope to see you at one of those events soon. Bye.
Hi, Sharon. This is Valentina.
Hi, Valentina. How are you?
Hey. So I actually just had a really quick question.
Sure.
So as you were going through ChatGPT and you were kind of copying and pasting some of the information from the resume versus the job description, is it more or less effective to copy sections of the resume and job description versus placing the whole resume all at once into ChatGPT and telling it to do different things with it?
I like sectioning it off, especially if you're trying to use that system to help you elevate the bullets,
Okay.
right? And so I've seen like really long bullets on resumes, and I've just copied the bullet and asked ChatGPT to rewrite it using metrics and results and power action verb, and start it with a power action verb. And I'll even say, decrease it by 25%.
Oh,
So
okay.
it shortens it as well, but it still packs the punch that it needs to. So yeah, it's a good technique.
We'll try that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. I've been attending all the AI things. I've been getting really into the AI powered type of tutorials and webinars. So thank you. Yes, it's really
You're very welcome. You're smart to do that. It's the way, it's the world we live in.
Yeah. Well, thank you and have a good rest of your
I
afternoon.
hope you do too. Other questions?
This is just a small question, and please don't laugh when I ask this. When you're saving it as you said to save it as a PDF, is there anything else that you would pay attention to as you're saving?
Yeah, the naming convention, right? And so you want it to be first name, last name, company. And again, you don't, like, we were using National Veterinarian Association, NVA, right? Senior brand manager in a month and a year, and save it in PDF. So you keep yourself organized. And again, it sends that signal to the company that you spend a little time, extra time preparing this document just for them.
Sure. And thank you again. This was very, very helpful. Thank you.
I'm so glad. You're so very, very, very welcome. Sydney, Michael, Kevin, any questions? All right, I'll end the call. Everybody have a great afternoon. Bye.